Hi everyone, I'm Cody.
Malia.
And we're
the Sanity Reporters.
Why are we the Sanity Reporters?
It was a super cute name.
It is a cute name.
Well, and we lost our minds.
Due to?
Addiction.
But not ours.
No. But
Our
what is
families.
addiction?
Well, look it up because so many people say they don't know. Really, they don't know. I saw a study on rats. This is legit. There was like some science doctor, somebody that put a rat in by himself with a bottle of water and a bottle of water with Coke and like cocaine, not Coca-Cola, Coke and heroin. And the rat went to both of them and then eventually drank so much of the drugged water that it killed himself. And then he thought, why? Why did he choose to do that? So he made a rat park. And in this rat park, he put a whole bunch of rats together and gave them everything. They had access to all different types of toys and food and treats and sex, and it was crazy time in there. Yeah, but he did the same thing. He put a bottle of water up of regular and a bottle of water up with Coke and heroin in it. And majority of those rats, I don't want to give a percentage because there actually was one, and I don't recall what it was, but it was majority of them that went to the regular water. And he says it because they were no longer lonely.
Oh, I was not expecting that ending.
Me either.
Wow.
It was crazy. And he said that there was, during Vietnam War, the soldiers used heroin over in Vietnam. But when they came home to their families, they were easily able to quit. Do I believe that that's the only reason for addiction? Nope, I don't.
I don't either.
I believe that there's many different reasons for addiction, and I also believe that it's a mentality state.
I agree.
Depression is absolutely huge, I believe, and agree with. I also think that some people just stumble into it and can't get away from it. It said that you use heroin twice and you're addicted.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know how many times you have to use crystal meth to be addicted, which is what my sister's addicted to, but I'm pretty sure it's something very similar.
Absolutely, I agree.
And as far as alcohol goes, I'm not real sure about that either. And I don't think anybody is, honestly. I know there are scientific facts, and I know that there are lots of researches and studies, and everybody has their own opinion, which is amazing and great for them. But I don't think anybody can really say. That's my personal opinion. Don't bash me.
Nope, and that's what we're not here to do. We're not here to bash anybody.
Because I'm drinking wine right now. I'm not addicted.
No. My personal feeling towards alcoholism, which is something that my mother struggled with my whole life, was that it was mental. A part of it was dealt with depression, loneliness, no self-worth. I think all that kind of wrapped in together was a lot of the reason why she felt she needed the release of life, and drinking every day did that for her.
Right.
So that's my personal outlook on alcoholism.
Got a hairstyle.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you ask somebody else that is involved, or you ask the alcoholic, him or herself, and they're going to have a different answer for you. So we're not here to study and tell you what that's about.
No.
We're here to tell you why I cried yesterday.
Tell me.
And it wasn't because, I don't know, it wasn't because I stubbed my toe.
Right. It was something that somebody inflicted on you?
Yes.
Okay.
Constantly.
Yeah.
So, just real quick, we're going to run down maybe just a few minutes what our goal is here and what we don't want from you. And then we'll move on to why I cried yesterday.
Okay. Sounds good.
Perfect. So, we've already done our introductions. No, not really. Not really.
No, not why.
No. So, I have a sister, Mandy, who is addicted to crystal meth, and she has been for over half of my life. And so that means that her addiction has affected me time and time and time again. And there was also a point of 2 or 3 years, I can't remember exactly, when my older sister was addicted to crystal meth as well. And that came out of left field. Totally blew my mind. I had no idea what was happening. So I'll touch on that as well. And Malia, why don't you tell us real quick what your backstory is?
Sure. Most people who know me know that I've struggled with my mom with alcoholism and addiction to pills, as well as the harder drugs too. I will touch mostly on stories about that. I did have and still do have other family members that have had issues along with alcoholism and drugs as well. So that's sort of what I'm going to do here. It's mostly going to be stories about my mom and things that I've dealt with and how I've dealt with throughout my whole life, pretty much.
Okay, great. Okay, so in case you noticed, we decided we needed to trade sides with the background, so we just took a little tiny break.
The little things in life, you know?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, you can actually see Malia now.
Yeah.
She's a little washed into that bright background. And I seem kind of angelic.
Yes,
Just
like
kidding.
an angel.
Okay, so Malia and I have dealt with this, like we just said, majority of our lives. Most of her entire life and over half of mine. So this is very real to us, and it's our life. It's what we deal with on a daily basis and what we go through. And she and I are both very optimistic people. We're very happy, and we don't like to be brought down. And it does happen. It brings us down. However, we need some laughter in our lives. So please be advised that if we make a joke about addiction or something one of us have gone through, it's basically our coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And this is just what we're gonna do. We take this very seriously. We don't take it lightly at all. Our stories, our memories, some of them make us sick to our stomachs. We don't like to bring them up. We don't like to look back on our past. I know Malia has recently told me that she has blocked childhood memories, and that's real. Like, that's legit stuff. So we have a baby right here. Sorry. Go ahead, Malia.
So we do know that it's real. We take it very serious. Our goal here is to kind of heal a little bit. We feel that with communication and sharing our stories, one, for us, with each other, we can start to maybe heal a little and deal with our emotions more daily and getting them out and communicating. And then if perhaps one of you happen to relate or, see yourself sharing a story that's similar to one of ours, that's our goal.
Yeah, it is. And we plan on the show being pretty fun. Even though it has a very heavy topic and very serious stuff going on. So it's going to be kind of emotions across the board, we feel like, what we're planning on. We may be ugly crying one day and laughing the next week. We don't know what the show's going to bring us, and that's okay.
And I think that's the exciting part, too. That's it's one thing to tell your story. About what you felt or what you went through at a certain time, but to be able to kind of laugh about it or cry about it with somebody, that's what we want. That's what we're doing this for.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. So I think that's enough of that stuff. Don't you?
I agree.
You want to
get
into
intro.
Anything else?
I want to just kind of circle back to something you had mentioned. You had said that you cried yesterday.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
So yesterday, I got a phone call from my aunt who went to see my sister that is in jail. And this is her first time being in jail, and I've seen her once, and it was awful. She's in a very ugly spot right now. She's detoxing, and it's terrible. I mean, what I went through just to get that visitation was pretty rough. Like, it wasn't an easy task. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never been in jail.
Yeah,
I've
sure.
never been inside a police station, for an offense. Like, that isn't my life, so I'm not familiar with it. I don't know how it works. So I took a weekend trying to figure out how to get in to see her. And I went on Monday and they wouldn't let me in. So I had to schedule a visit for Tuesday. I went in there and she was done talking to me in 5 minutes. They give you a 30-minute visit and she was done talking to me in 5 minutes. I made her stay a little bit longer, and at 15 minutes she was up and off the phone and out of the room.
Wow.
Yeah, she was done. She didn't want to talk to me anymore. She was sick. She's sweating. She was crying. She looked horrible. And I was sick to my stomach the entire time.
I'm sure.
So I got a phone call yesterday from my aunt, and my cousin was in there with her, like on speakerphone, kind of, I guess. And I had to tell her, like, you have to stop feeding into what Mandy's giving you. Like, she's trying to get out of jail. She's trying everything she can, which is not good. She needs to be in there and get cleaned up.
Right.
Sorry, this baby over here is killing me. He just keeps smiling at me. So anyway, so I was telling her, like, asking, please stop feeding into what she's doing. Yes, I know she's having anxiety attacks. I know that she's upset she's missing her daughter's graduation. Like, I get it. But she did this.
Right.
Nobody else did this. And honestly, if she were to have been arrested for all of the things she actually has done, she wouldn't see daylight.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's horrible.
Bad. Yeah.
So she's blessed to have been given what she's given, and she doesn't see that. And so she's reaching out to anybody that will save her and agree with her and work with her to get her out of there when she only has less than a month left. Like, just deal with it from my perspective. Then again, I've never been in jail.
Right.
So then once I tell her this, my cousin, she cussed at me, telling me that sometimes we F up, and when we F up, we should get a second chance. Well, I'm sorry, but how many chances have I given my sister?
This isn't a second chance.
No. This is like a million.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm not doing this with you. I don't need this in my life. And
No.
I'm getting off the phone now. And I hung up. And it made me so sad because it was just one more day that I had to have that reality thrown in my face. And I was having such a good morning. I woke up and I was busy. I was cleaning. I was happy. I was feeling well, which is kind of rare for me. And then I got that phone call and I was just like, just stop.
And let's let our viewers know exactly how Mandy's addiction has impacted your life. Like, describe to us how. What it is that you're going through daily because of her addiction.
So, I will tell you the very first time I recall knowing that Mandy was using drugs. I kind of think I was in 8th grade. I may have been a freshman, but we were sitting in my parents' living room, and I think my mom was getting after her about her report card. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And she was mad because my sister was flunking. And my mom kept telling her, like, you're not even crying. I'm yelling at you and you're not even crying. And I remember thinking, like, what a weird thing to say.
Right.
Like, why would she point that out?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't much longer after that I discovered she was using drugs. And when you use drugs, you don't have emotions like
You're
that.
numb.
You
to everything.
cannot feel them.
Right.
And so that's kind of been, from that point on, kind of been my life. Monitoring her and seeing, okay, how long has she been sleeping for today?
Right.
Is she awake at night? Monitoring what she's doing. She's been using. She's talking to me like I'm a stranger that she picked out of the trash. And that's not my sister.
Right.
I know that's not my sister. But it affects me daily when I try to think about that. Even when she was sober for 5 years, it was still a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why is she acting like this? And then
Right.
I would realize, oh, she was just having a bad day. It's okay.
Yeah.
So then October will be 2 years that her daughters moved in with me and my family. So I now have custody of her 2 girls, and that is it's a daily struggle for me, not to take care of them, but to try, I guess, try to help them emotionally, because I mean, you really have to watch that kind of thing. It's not like me that I can cry and know that this is the drugs doing this to my sister. These girls are young. They don't know, they don't get, or they don't want to accept the fact
That's what it is.
that this is what it is.
Yeah.
That this is their mom's doing drugs. So one of them is kind of oblivious. She's the younger one. The older one knows what's happening, and she knows where her mom is currently, unfortunately. That conversation, I don't even have the words. I don't have the words. Mm-mm. For somebody to tell me that my sister is now in jail because of all of her faults that she's been leading up to is difficult to swallow, because you don't want to think about your family being in a place like that. But to explain to these little girls,
it's hard enough for you, like you said, for you to have to deal with it, but to try to tell little girls who look up to their mom, no matter what her faults are, she's always going to be their mother, and to have to try to downplay or make it seem like it's not as bad as it is, that's a very difficult task for you as an adult and as a mom, to explain that to your nieces. I can't imagine that.
It is. And the younger one, my husband and I decided we probably shouldn't tell her where she's at right now. So all of those of you living in my small community,
don't tell her.
Let's keep this under wraps for her sake. She doesn't need to know that. That is something that can be left out. Because honestly, I told her that she is needing to take some time alone to fix herself so she can be a better mom and be around them more. And she cried and sobbed on my shoulder for 10 minutes. She can't wrap her brain around it.
It's hard to comprehend.
It really is. As an adult,
what do you mean my mom's not going to be here for a while?
Where's she
I don't understand that. Like,
and you know what's sad, Malia, is she didn't even ask questions.
She just cried.
She just cried. I mean, I would think that she would ask, well, where's she going? How long is she going to be gone? Can I call her? Nothing. She gave me nothing. She just cried. And that just kind of shows you the life she's lived, is she doesn't get answers because we don't have them.
Right.
When Mandy was running amok and living in a storage unit, we didn't know when she was going to be able to come by. And let me just say and state that I do believe over the last couple months she's been trying to get clean again before she got put in jail. And she was making that effort. Because she's been sticking with the visitation.
That's good.
95%, I would say. She was making an effort, but before that, no idea where she's going, where she's at, what she's doing. And you can't answer those questions when you don't know, because we're not liars. We're not going to lie to them. I will shield them as much as possible.
And that's your job as a mom.
It is.
Yep. And so you're
because
doing a great job.
sometimes they just don't need to know.
Right. If it's not going to benefit anybody in that situation, there is a shield you have to put up as a mother, and you do the same with your own kids about any other things that are going on in the world.
Yes.
You know, you don't want your kids at a young age watching any violence on TV or anything sexual, because you're the mother and you're shielding them. It goes for the same with your nieces, and shielding them from, unfortunately, what their mom is going through right now.
And I had to have another conversation with my daughter, who was 7 at the time, as to why she had to share her bedroom now, and these girls are moving in with us. At first, I thought, it wasn't going to be very long, so I just told her that Auntie's going up north to get a job, which she had actually told me she was going to go and do, and the girls were going to stay with us so they can stay in their school, which was all true. But then she kept bringing up Auntie. When is Auntie going to, like, is Auntie working today? Is Auntie going to come and see the girls? And so, and that would make the girls sad, you know?
Well, yeah.
So I had to have the conversation and tell her. And, you know, I completely give props to Red Ribbon Week at schools. I think that program is amazing, and not just for them to stay away from drugs. They were able to learn about it.
The information behind it is fantastic.
It is. My 3 girls, I didn't have to pull up resources. I actually had printed resources and did some research so I could show them what this drug is, what she's using, and how it makes them act, just to kind of give me a little backup. And they didn't need that. They knew how it made people react and act. And so that was an amazing blessing to have. All I had to say, you know how you learn at Red Ribbon Week about drugs? And the conversation was open. And I was able to give that. It wasn't easy. They want to know why. Why would she do that? That's gross. Well, I don't know. That's back to our addiction conversation.
Absolutely.
We don't really know.
No.
So, and my stories go on and on and on. I mean, I have a ton of them. I can tell you without getting into too much that my birth announcement has a memory of drama. Telling my parents that I was pregnant. My wedding had drama, big time. My wedding photos are jacked. Taking my daughter her first birthday, drama. I mean, every milestone I have drama-filled memories of my siblings on drugs. Ridiculous. It's so sad. It is
so sad.
But that's what I've been dealing with.
And it's reality for us.
It really is.
As sad as it is, it's the reality that we now feel this is why we want to do this.
Yes.
And I think that this is going to be a great outlet for us, number one. And for others who maybe they don't have somebody they can just talk to. Because I know there's a lot of people who have had family members or close friends that have been, had some sort of addiction. And
I don't think I know a single person that doesn't at least know somebody.
I agree.
But I can pretty much guarantee there's at least one person in their own family.
Absolutely.
May not be immediate.
Right.
But in their family that has an issue with addiction. It is. It's terrible.
That's scary for us because there's a show on A&E that talks all about doing an intervention for the addicted, and when they have the family members come in right before they have their the person who's addicted come in, they tell them, okay, this is what I want you to write down, and this is what I want you to say to them as soon as they come in, because we want them to understand what it is you've gone through while they've been on this addiction path.
Yeah.
So the first thing that they say is, your addiction has affected me in the following ways. And I feel that statement is so powerful because, like Cody said, everybody she knows has got somebody either in her family or known somebody or have some direct relation to somebody who's had a problem with addiction. And it affects us. It affects everybody else around them. Granted, we know that people who have an addiction, we get it. It's a disease. There's something in them that's not allowing them to just walk away the way that you and I maybe would just walk away.
Right.
And
you say that, but I've never tried any type of drug, marijuana, when I was 18.
am on the same path. And honestly, the reason why I've never tried anything was because I grew up with a mom on crank.
And you know what?
Told myself I'll never do this.
So true. My dad told me when I was in high school that he tried Coke and was awake for 3 days. He called it something else, so I don't think he called it Coke. Some Johnny, I don't know, something. Was awake for 3 days and swore he would never touch anything again because he loved it.
Oh, yeah, that's scary.
He loved it.
Yeah.
And he said, I have his words exactly, where I have such an addictive personality. And I thought, oh my God, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And so from then on, never touched the stuff.
Right.
And not only that, but I had such amazing friends in high school and after high school that did use them as recreational, and thank God they were able to pull their stuff together away from it afterwards. But I've never even seen drugs. I couldn't tell you. Of course, but I couldn't tell you what it looks like. I did see a pen that was used in my sister's bathroom when we were moving her out. I did see that, but I didn't see the drugs.
Yeah.
I couldn't, I mean, on TV and stuff, but never in person. I have no idea what it looks like in real life.
Right. Which is scary because it could be right there and you wouldn't even know.
I feel like I would be able to pick it out.
Yeah.
Because I have seen it on TV.
Right.
But you're right. Like, I mean, they change stuff
all the time. You can't even keep up with it.
No, you can't. And so there could be paraphernalia. And raising kids, stupid. Yeah. I don't want to do it anymore.
It's hard.
I give up.
It's definitely hard.
Yeah. You know, my niece is now 14. She graduates in just 3 weeks going into high school.
So exciting.
And she told me that she knows of kids having sex and doing drugs in 6th grade.
Oh, God.
6th grade. I was rolling around in the dirt.
It literally gives me, like, the EBGBs. I can't even handle it.
I was playing in the dirt out at my grandpa's ranch when I was in 6th grade.
Yeah.
I mean, no. I had a boyfriend. I think we held hands, and I remember his hand being really dry. I didn't like it. But, no. I wasn't even close to having sex and doing drugs in 6th grade. Not even. I mean, to this day, I'm not even close.
Right.
I mean, sex part, yeah. Obviously, I have kids. But other than that, drugs, no. No thanks.
I agree. And I don't like to be around it. I don't like to have friends that are around it. I do know a lot. I saw a lot growing up. Found things throughout the house all the time. It's not good. It's not good stuff for kids. So, and that's what we're going back to. Like this is how we've been affected with people who've been addicted around us. This is what it's done to our lives. This turmoil and this stress and this financial responsibility.
Just huge because things happen all the time. And I don't know about you, but I know Malia and our hearts tell us to help them.
We can't
not enable them. We do know the difference.
Yes.
But like my husband and I took on two children.
Right.
That's not cheap.
No.
It is not emotionally easy. Mm-hmm. It's exhausting. Now I went from 2 kids to 4 kids overnight, and I went from having my oldest as a 7-year-old to my oldest as a 13-year-old. Right. Well, she was 12, almost 13 at the time.
So I think this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. We want to be able to share with you all of these stories. We're probably not going to have a screaming baby in the background moving forward. But at the same time, we're moms, and there may be kind of stuff like this. But our goal here is to reach out to you, reach out to each other. We need this, and we hope that you need it too. We hope that if anything, we can teach each other things and share with each other so that we can all kind of learn how to deal with the madness. And going back to what we're called the Sandy Reporters, that's why. We've had times where we feel like we're absolutely losing our mind. There's no way that we are going to continue to be sane after some of the stuff that we have to go through. And so here we are going to report about it. And you know what? I think this is going to be fun. It's going to be exciting for us.
Real quick, Malia, I know that my husband doesn't want to be brought into this too much. He's an extremely private person. So thank you, baby, for letting me do this. But this does wreak havoc on our relationships as well. He is amazing, and I'm a stay-at-home mom, so he brings in the dough, and he allows me, I don't like to use that word, let me rephrase that. He agrees with me when we can communicate and come to a conclusion as to what my family members need and what we're willing to do for them. It also brings problems when I get extremely emotional and I'm hurt and I'm sad and he gets mad at them
Right.
for doing that to me. And so we have to find that balance. And so I think we will be touching on that as well, our relationship,
Absolutely.
our personal relationships outside of that addiction, of what the addiction is doing to us, if that
Right.
makes any sense.
Right.
I kind of went in a little rabbit hole there.
I got it. I'm sure they'll get
Okay,
it.
great. Hope so, because it was all right in my head and then
Yeah.
it wasn't sounding right when I was coming out. But I think it's gonna, I think you got it. So anyway, so that's our plan. And we hope that you reach out to us and you give ideas, something you want to talk about, or if you have questions. Malia and I are not therapists. We're not psychologists. We have no degrees.
Right.
But we have real life experience and we're passionate about this. So please talk to us and let us know what you're thinking, your thoughts, and like I said, any questions you have, we can touch base on that in our next show.
And we're excited for this journey, and we hope that you
We
guys
really
continue
are.
each week. Tune in to us. And again, like Cody said, ask us questions, share your stories. We do have a couple ideas that we're going to have. Maybe once a month, we're thinking let's get a guest on with us. Either somebody who wants to share stories of how addiction has affected them, or maybe even have somebody who's gone through addiction and has come out on the other side, and can share that positivity with anybody that's tuning in that also has struggled with addiction.
Exactly.
We also want to do a weekly thing where we have a Drop Your Dose segment where we do a little bit of research and find some nonprofit organizations and charities that help deal with family members who are dealing with addiction. And anytime we'll list those on our website, we'll list those on YouTube, we'll say them on here. And if anybody has any extra cash just to kind of drop their way, those nonprofit organizations are amazing outlets for people to be able to go to meetings and talk to people, and figure out how they can deal with what they're going through.
And relate.
Right.
Yeah. So that's super huge to us. Again, that's something that we're passionate about. This whole thing it means so much to us.
Yeah.
It's such a huge part of our life. I can't say that enough because it really is. It's just what we live. So we're going to hopefully use this as our platform to be able to help others in our same scenario and see what we can do with that.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. So with that, I think that we hope you guys enjoyed this. And
don't forget to subscribe. You can subscribe
yes.
to our channel, and then you don't have to remember because it'll email you and tell you, come on over and see the
super
Sanity
easy technology
Reporters.
these days.
that.
Love it.
Which we had to have our kids help
Yeah.
us set up.
My 17-year-old's pretty crafty. He's pretty
Don't
smart.
tell.
So with that, let's cheers to our first episode, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you have any questions, we're here from 5:30 to 7 tonight. Thank you. Facebook, yes.
That's where we'll be.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.